Hey guys, Andy here. So as you may be aware, I am in ownership of a Pixel 6a and I'll be doing a review in the next day or two, but I thought I would do a separate video just on the camera because a lot of people sort of ask questions about the camera and the lenses and how they perform. And everything you're seeing here has been taken on the Pixel 6a. Now, I think the questions come up because it's an old sensor, and I'm using air quotes when I say old because it was old in a lot of other phones before it was old in this phone. I think it went back as far as the Pixel 2, but it was as most recent as the Pixel 5. And you have to think in a Pixel device, actually, really it's about the computational wizardry that Google does behind more than the sort of lens in the glass at the front of things. So as I say, everything you're seeing is taken on the Pixel 6a. The main lens, just so we're aware, is a 12.2 megapixel with f1.7, has face detection, autofocus, optical image stabilisation, etc. And the wide angle is 12 megapixel, f2.2. Generally the photos, they do look very good when you take them in good conditions. I'm just going to whack that sort of proviso on the end as well. So I took a lot of my photos were out in the sun, and I thought they looked really good. There was strong realistic colours. They looked very sharp. I think it handled the contrasts quite well. I think the issues come up as you move into the lower light, and I didn't because it's summer and it doesn't get dark till quite late. And honestly, I wasn't really out very late a lot of the time, unfortunately, in the week that I've had this. But I did go around a couple of different museums in central London, and that actually provided me quite a good opportunity to take photos in lower light. And that's where you see where it doesn't do quite so well. There's a lot of noise on the pictures. Sometimes it chose to use night mode, and then you get the sort of the blurry people if they were in the shots. So yeah, the low light was not so great. I thought the front-facing camera generally looked pretty good, much like the main lenses. The colours look strong and realistic. I thought the detail wasn't quite as good as I might have hoped for from an 8 megapixel f2.0 lens. One of them, the text, if you zoom in on it, it doesn't look as perfect as it might from the main lenses. So I'm going to move on to video. To be honest, it's actually looking at much the same as stills. So again, in good light, I thought there were strong colours, there was good detail. I think the stabilisation is very good. It does look a little bit gimbal-like, but I mean, that is what stabilisation. Why can't I say stabilisation these days? That's what it's like. It's emulating a gimbal. So it looks a little robotic, but actually it does a really good job. If it's a sort of a stationary still shot, you don't get the little wobbles that you personally might have trying to hold the device. I did some video indoor, so it wasn't too dark, but it was indoor, and it basically got the white balance way off. And you can see as I eventually pan up to the ceiling that it kind of, I don't know, it realises it, adjusts it, and it fixes it. I think it was the only time I really noticed it, to be fair. The front-facing camera video generally seemed pretty good as well. I did a bit of speech because at times I thought that the audio sounded a little tinny maybe, so I did some speech, but actually the speech sounded okay.
Behind me is the Natural History Museum.
And then we get to low light, or the sort of indoor, well no, it is low light, I mean it's indoor, but it's very low light. And it very much reminded me when I compared the Pixel 5 to the Pixel 6, in that it really showed up how bad the Pixel 5 was at low light, and unfortunately the same is evident on the 6a. I mean, it's not so bad if it's stationary, but there's any bit of movement and things turn into a bit of a blurry mess, quite honestly. So yeah, indoor not great video, or low light I should say. I did do, just to top things off, I did a little bit of slow-mo, which I thought looked okay. It's quite odd with the audio coming through slow-mo as well. I should point out I've not really called out too clearly where it's been ultra wide and when it's been the regular lens, but honestly I didn't really, aside from the actual it being ultra wide, you couldn't really tell much difference. I think that both lenses perform very similarly. So there we go. All in all, it is very good. For the money you're paying, you're probably still getting generally a better camera than you get on most sort of mid-range, budget to mid-range devices. just be wary of the low light, the nighttime performance. It's not what you would get if you spend a bit more money on something like the Pixel 6. So there you go. Hopefully that video has been helpful for you. Please do leave any thoughts in the comments down below. I do read them all. But for now, my name's Andy, and I'll catch you all again soon.